Chosen one. You didn't stumble across this message by accident. Heaven is calling. The divine has summoned you to this moment because there's a split happening in the spirit realm, and whether you recognize it or not, you're standing right in the middle of it. The shift isn't coming, it's already here. And if you don't choose now, it might choose for you. You can feel it, can't you? The way things no longer fit. The way your old thoughts, routines, attachments, they feel like clothes 2 sizes too small. What used to comfort you now restricts you. What once gave you meaning now leaves you empty. That's not a sign of failure. That's a sign you're waking up. The decision point is here. And the truth is, not everyone will make it through. This is not just about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about becoming your truest version. And you can't do that without choosing. This split isn't just happening around you. It's happening through you. You are being called to rise. Not next month, not next year. Now. And before we go any further, pause and align with this moment. Hit the like button. It tells the universe you're saying yes to your elevation. Subscribe. We're building a chosen army of 70,000 souls awakening together. Comment 99, a sacred code that sends your alignment into the frequency of transformation. Now take a breath, because what you do next determines everything. Let this land deep in your soul. The world around you is being divided, not by war, not by governments, but by vibration. The lower reality of the 3D world, the fear, the scarcity, the ego, it's collapsing. And higher realms of 4D and 5D consciousness are becoming more accessible than ever before. But you must choose. Will you stay tethered to the illusion of control or surrender to divine truth? Will you remain enslaved to validation and external success, or step boldly into a life guided by spirit and alignment? There is no middle ground anymore. You're either walking in faith or collapsing in fear. You're either aligned or asleep. You're either ascending or dissolving. This is the split, and it's not a theory. It's not a metaphor. It's happening right now, in every choice, every thought, every vibration you allow in. So if you're still waiting for a perfect moment to become who you were meant to be, I have news for you. This is it. God doesn't wait on fear. He moves through obedience. Chosen one, this isn't a time to play small. This isn't a season for comfort or delay. This is a sacred hour to release the past, align your soul, and walk into divine destiny. Because here's the real truth that most people won't tell you. If you don't choose, your environment will choose for you. If you don't wake up, the world will rock you to sleep. And many will miss the shift, not because they were evil, not because they were unworthy, but because they were indecisive. Heaven rewards the decided, the ones who say, I don't have all the answers, but I trust the pull in my soul. The ones who say, I'm tired of pretending, I'm ready to rise. The ones who say, I choose my calling over my comfort. If that's you, then keep reading, because this shift is already in motion, and you're being positioned right now for the greatest transformation of your life. But hear this warning with love. What you're clinging to will either lift you or sink you. The relationships, the habits, the patterns, they are either in alignment with your divine path or working against it. You must decide. Will you keep dragging the weight of who you used to be into the new dimension God is calling you into? Or will you finally let go and rise? There's no time left to be lukewarm. You're either going in or you're staying behind. And the truth is, many people around you won't understand this shift. They'll call you distant, distracted, different. But that's because they still live in the realm you've already outgrown. Don't shrink to make others comfortable in their sleep. Your awakening isn't meant to be explained, it's meant to be lived. Chosen one, God has been whispering, He's been sending signs. But now He's speaking clearly. Choose now. The longer you delay, the more resistance you create. The more you doubt, the more blessings you block. The more you postpone, the more painful the transition becomes. You can either flow with the current of divine timing or fight it and be dragged. But you cannot ignore it. Not anymore. This is not just a season. This is a sacred appointment. You were created for this threshold. The DNA of ascension is already coded inside of you. But it must be activated by decision, not delay. So here's your invitation. Stand in front of the mirror today and declare, I choose to rise. I choose to trust. I choose to become who God created me to be. Because when you make that decision with your whole soul, not just your words, but your energy, everything begins to shift. Doors open, illusions fall away, new levels of clarity and alignment begin to flood in. And it's not magic, it's obedience. The moment you say yes, the universe responds. The heavens take notice, and the path unfolds beneath your feet. But you must take the step. This is your moment. This is the shift. Will you choose it? The world as you know it is undergoing a massive spiritual restructuring, and you are at the center of it. Not by accident, not by chance, but by divine design. Every cell in your body, every fiber of your soul can feel it. Something is shifting. Something is calling. And if your spirit is stirring, it's because you're meant to be part of this transformation. The split has already begun. Two realities are unfolding simultaneously. One is collapsing, the 3D world built on fear, ego, materialism, and illusion. The other is rising, a higher plane of existence where divine love, consciousness, and alignment reign. And in between them, there is a narrow bridge. You are standing on it now. This is the crossroads. This is the moment of decision. Will you stay anchored to the old world, where time rules your every move, where fear keeps you in place, where identity is defined by outside voices? Or will you release all that no longer serves your higher self and rise into the unknown, a place where purpose is clear, love is abundant, and the limitations of this world dissolve? You must choose. This isn't theory. This isn't a philosophical exercise. This is your life, right here, right now. And your soul is being called to make the boldest decision of your lifetime, to rise. God is not calling you to comfort. He is calling you to clarity. He is calling you to courage. He is calling you home. But here's the truth many run from. This isn't a guaranteed path. Not everyone will ascend. Not everyone will say yes. Not everyone will let go of what must be released. And so the split continues. More and more people are waking up to the illusion of the world they once lived in. They're noticing how things don't feel right anymore. They're seeing through the games, the distractions, the addictions, the chasing. But waking up isn't enough. You must respond. Awareness without action is delay, and delay is a silent no to your divine purpose. You may be tempted to wait until you have more clarity, more peace, more confidence, but the path doesn't unfold before you act. It unfolds because you act. That's the leap. That's faith. And the longer you hesitate, the more you'll feel the tension of being pulled in two directions. One part of you knows it's time. The other part fears the unknown. But growth never comes from certainty. It comes from surrender. So listen, if you've been hearing the whispers of God, if you've been seeing signs and synchronicities, if you've felt the urge to break out of the old and into something higher, don't ignore it. The universe is giving you confirmation, right here, right now. You were made for more than survival. You were made to ascend. The 4D dimension is not some fantasy land. It's a very real energetic state where your awareness expands. In 4D, you begin to see the threads that connect your past, your present, and your future. You begin to feel your emotions not just as reactions, but as guidance. You begin to sense that you are not just a body with a soul, you are a soul with a mission. You become conscious of your choices. You notice the power of intention. You begin to co-create your reality instead of reacting to it. But even 4D is not the final destination. It's a passageway to 5D, a realm of divine unity, infinite love, and oneness with God. Yet none of that happens unless you choose. This message is your invitation. It is not pressure. It is possibility. It's the divine knocking at your door saying, "I'm ready when you are." But know this, the window is narrowing. This portal won't remain open forever. The earth is shifting, the energies are accelerating, and the opportunity to rise is now. Will you go back to sleep, numbed by distraction and fear? Or will you awaken to the truth of who you really are? Because you already know deep down, this world never truly fit you. You've always felt different. You've always sensed there was more. And now, that more is being revealed. But only the faithful will see it. Only the courageous will walk into it. Only the chosen will rise. If you're still here, still reading, still feeling the energy through these words, it's because you are one of them. You've been activated, not by accident, but by divine orchestration. And now the question is not, are you worthy? It is, are you willing? Willing to let go, willing to rise, willing to trust the invisible hand of God as He calls you into your next level. Because chosen one, your new reality won't come from striving. It will come from surrender. It won't come from figuring it all out. It will come from flowing in divine alignment. This is the shift. This is the split. This is the sacred decision. And it belongs to you, not to your parents, not to your boss, not to your past. To you. You must choose now, because it's already happening. And the moment you do, the entire universe shifts to match your frequency. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And everything is about to change. The shift you've been sensing isn't imagination, it's acceleration. Things are moving quicker than ever before, and the spiritual realm is unfolding faster than the physical mind can grasp. The energy you're feeling, that pressure in your chest, that urgency in your soul, it's not anxiety. It's the pull of purpose. This isn't just another phase. It's a full-scale transformation, not just in your life, but in the entire collective. Heaven is releasing waves of ascension energy, and only those who are aligned will rise with it. Chosen one, this is no longer a time for questions. This is the time for readiness. The manifestations you've prayed for, cried for, begged for, they are already forming in the unseen. But here's what no one tells you. Manifestation requires alignment. God won't release what you're not ready to carry. That's why your soul has been in training. That's why you've gone through isolation, rejection, refinement. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Because what's coming next will require a stronger version of you, a version of you that doesn't flinch in the face of fear, that doesn't shrink under pressure, that doesn't apologize for being chosen. You must prepare not just your hands to receive, but your heart to sustain. And preparation begins with one sacred act: letting go. Letting go of the fear that tells you you're not enough. Letting go of the voices that told you to be quiet. Letting go of the patterns that comforted your wounds but poisoned your potential. This shift is real. It's happening now. And it's not waiting for anyone to be perfect. It's only waiting for you to be willing. Willing to trust. Willing to act. Willing to walk by faith and not by sight. Because the longer you stay in hesitation, the more disoriented you become. The more you delay, the heavier it feels. But the moment you decide, the moment you move, the moment you say, yes, I'm ready, the spiritual world responds. Doors begin to open, connections begin to flow, and what once felt impossible begins to unfold naturally. That's not luck, that's alignment. But let me be clear, you can't fake this. You can't straddle the fence between 3D and 5D. You must choose. You either carry your cross or cling to your comfort. You either walk in the spirit or drift in confusion. There's no more room for spiritual tourists, only for soul warriors. And I know, letting go can feel like loss. But what if I told you that what you're afraid of losing is nothing compared to what's waiting for you? What if the heartbreak, the endings, the delays? What if those weren't setbacks, but sacred redirections? What if you were being pruned, not punished? Because the fruit God is preparing to bring through your life will not fit in the container of who you used to be. You need a new container, a new mind, a new frequency, a new faith. That's why this is happening. That's why it hurts. That's why you feel the way you do. Because your soul is outgrowing your surroundings, and your spirit is done playing small. You're being called higher, and everything that isn't aligned is being stripped away. Not to harm you, but to heal you. Not to punish you, but to position you. And yes, it might feel lonely. Yes, you may not recognize yourself some days, but that's because you're not becoming the old you again. You're becoming the original you, the one God designed before fear rewrote your story. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold. On one side, the familiar, the predictable, the safe. On the other, the unknown, the divine, the destined. And you can't bring both into your future. You must leave the old behind to step into what is sacred. This isn't just a life shift, it's a soul shift, and it's happening now. You don't have to wait until you have all the answers. You don't need a sign in the sky. You don't need someone else to confirm what your spirit already knows. You are being called to move. Even if your legs tremble, even if your voice shakes, even if all you can muster is one brave, broken yes. That's enough. Heaven doesn't need you to be fearless, just faithful, because when you move in obedience, God moves in power. So let this moment mark you. Let this be the line in the sand. where you say, I'm done waiting, I'm done doubting, I'm done shrinking. I choose my destiny, I choose my alignment, I choose my shift. The old you can't come, the fearful you can't come. Only the faithful you, the true you, can walk through this next door. This is the divine separation. This is the unexpected shift. This is your soul's yes. And once you choose it, everything changes. Everything aligns. Everything accelerates. Because God is waiting on you. The world around you is being shaken, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. Everything that once seemed stable is being questioned. Everything you once relied on is being stripped away. But it's not chaos, it's divine construction. God is not removing things to punish you. He is removing what can't go with you. Because where you're going requires lightness. It requires clarity. It requires truth. This is not the time to resist. This is the time to release. Release your grip on what no longer fits. Release the weight of other people's expectations. Release the lies you believed about who you were supposed to be. You were not created to carry it all. You were created to carry light. And in this moment, the universe is inviting you to lighten your load, not so you can run faster, but so you can rise higher. This is ascension, and it requires separation. That's what the shift is, a separating of energies, a division between the awakened and the asleep, the faithful and the fearful, the ascending and the attached. It's not personal, it's energetic, and it's happening whether you choose it or not. But here's the grace. You still have a choice. You can decide today to stop fighting what your soul already knows. You can decide to surrender, to align, and to walk in divine obedience, even when your mind doesn't understand. Because in the higher realms, understanding follows obedience. The spiritual dimension you're stepping into doesn't operate like the 3D world. In 3D, you chase. In 5D, you attract. In 3D, you strive. In 5D, you surrender. In 3D, you live from fear. In 5D, you flow from love. And this shift isn't just happening in the ether, it's happening inside you. That's why you've been emotional lately. That's why the dreams are more vivid. That's why certain people feel draining and silence feels sacred. You're being recalibrated, retuned, refined, not for survival, but for service. Because once you step into this higher reality, your life stops being about you. It starts becoming a vessel for something greater. You begin to live in alignment with divine purpose. You begin to sense when to move, when to rest, when to speak, and when to be still. The noise of the world fades, and the voice of God becomes clearer. But to hear it, you must silence the echoes of the old world. You must stop asking 3D minds for permission to live a 5D life. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will come with you. But everyone will witness the transformation that unfolds in you. This is sacred, so sacred in fact, that heaven is watching your every step. Not to judge you, but to guide you. Not to test you, but to trust you. God is looking for vessels, people who are willing to rise, to let go, to lead. People who don't just talk about faith, but walk it. People who don't need proof to obey, only a whisper from the Spirit. And if you're reading this, if something in your soul is lighting up, it's because you're one of them. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are right on divine time. But you must prepare. Prepare your mind by detoxing from fear. Prepare your body by releasing tension and honoring rest. Prepare your spirit by returning to stillness and listening for the whisper. Because what's coming isn't just an upgrade, it's a rebirth. The old you will not survive this shift. And that's a beautiful thing. The insecure you, the anxious you, the codependent you, the version of you who questioned your worth and begged for scraps of validation. That version is fading. And in its place, a new you is emerging. One who walks in divine authority. One who speaks truth without trembling, one who carries peace into every room. This isn't a fantasy, it's a spiritual reality, and it's being unlocked by your willingness to choose. Not choose comfort, not choose certainty, but choose alignment. You were born to be here, to awaken now, to say yes when everyone else is distracted, to stand firm when everything around you is falling apart, because you're not here to blend in, you're here to become. And the shift is your initiation. Chosen one. Hear this with your whole being. The transformation ahead of you will not match the life behind you. You won't recognize yourself. Not because you'll be someone else, but because you'll finally be who you were always meant to be. So do not fear the breaking. Do not mourn the losses. Do not resist the silence. Let the false fall away. Let the truth rise up. Let your soul take over. Because where you're going, ego can't survive. Only essence, only light, only love. This is your invitation. This is your permission slip from heaven to rise, to release, to remember. You've carried enough. You've waited long enough. You've questioned long enough. It's time. Step forward. Step up. Step into the version of you that your spirit has always known. The shift is no longer coming. It's here. And so are you. There's a reason you felt disconnected from the world around you. A reason why old pleasures no longer satisfy. Why surface conversations drain you. And why your soul feels like it's searching for something it can't quite name. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're awakening. You are no longer who you once were. And that's a powerful thing. Because when your soul begins to stretch beyond the limits of the 3D world, your entire inner reality begins to shift. You see things more clearly, you feel more deeply, you sense truth without needing it explained. That's not confusion, it's calibration. You're being tuned to a higher frequency, one that matches your calling, one that matches your mission, one that matches your divine identity. But here's the truth. You cannot carry old energy into a new dimension. You must shed to ascend. You must release to receive. You must surrender to rise. And yes, it's hard, because letting go means grieving what you once thought was your foundation. But the foundations you're losing were never meant to hold your future. They were meant to shape your past, to bring you here, to teach you the contrast. So now you know what peace isn't, what love isn't, what purpose isn't, so that you can recognize the real thing when it arrives. And beloved, it's arriving. The 5D shift isn't just spiritual, it's cellular. It's rewiring the way you think, the way you breathe, the way you feel. You may notice heightened emotions. You may experience waves of clarity followed by waves of disorientation. You may feel more connected to the divine, but more distant from the world. This is normal. This is sacred. This is what ascension feels like. You are being lifted out of illusion and into truth. And truth doesn't always feel good at first. It strips, it stretches, it stings, but it also sets you free. Free from the loop of seeking external validation. Free from the pressure to conform. Free from the noise of the world telling you who to be. Because the higher you rise, the less you need the world's approval. And the more you crave God's alignment. You no longer care to fit in. You only care to flow. And flowing means trusting. Trusting that even in the silence, God is speaking. Trusting that even in the stillness, you're moving. Trusting that even when nothing looks different, everything is shifting. Because this is a spiritual journey, not a physical one. You may not be able to explain it, but your soul knows. It knows that timelines are converging. It knows that old karmic cycles are closing. It knows that what once worked will no longer carry you. And so it's detaching, not out of rebellion, out of revelation. You don't need more goals. You need more grounding. You don't need to strive harder. You need to surrender deeper. Because in 5D consciousness, being is more powerful than doing. And stillness is an act of war against everything that kept you enslaved. This is the gift of the shift. And it's not for everyone. Many will resist it. Many will mock it. Many will return to the comfort of the cage. But not you. You were never meant to settle for safety. You were made for sovereignty. And now that sovereignty is being activated. Not through titles or achievements, but through inner liberation. Liberation from fear, from shame, from unworthiness. You are not here to earn your worth. You are here to embody it. You are the miracle. You are the messenger. You are the movement. And the world doesn't change when you achieve more. It changes when you align more. So let this be your confirmation. If you've been pulled to silence, solitude, simplicity, it's not regression. It's recalibration. You are shedding the density of who you were taught to be so that you can rise into the divinity of who you already are. The old path will call you back. It will try to seduce you with old comforts, old distractions, old roles, but your spirit won't let you stay. It will nudge you, it will whisper, and if you don't listen, it will roar, because you have work to do. Not in the external world, but in the energetic one. Your light is needed, your alignment is needed, your yes is needed. The world isn't waiting for another influencer. It's waiting for a healer, a leader, a chosen one. And you are it, not because of your status, but because of your surrender. So keep going. Even if the path feels lonely, Even if your hands are shaking, even if you have no map, walk anyway, trust anyway, ascend anyway, because everything you need is already within you, and everything you desire is already aligned with you. You're not becoming something new. You're becoming something true, and that is the power of the shift. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the veil finally lifts, and nothing looks the same again. It's not a grand external event. It's something internal, quiet, unmistakable. It's the moment when your soul whispers, "This is not where I belong anymore." Not because you hate the world, but because you've outgrown it. You start to feel it in your body first. The restlessness, the craving for solitude, the discomfort in familiar spaces. And then it moves into your heart. What used to excite you now feels empty. What used to satisfy you now feels shallow. It's not depression. It's not confusion. It's divine disruption. You're being pulled out of one dimension and into another. And this is where many fall off, because the space between dimensions feels like a void. You're no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. This in-between, it's sacred. It's the womb of your transformation. You're not lost. You're being reborn. But the rebirth won't come through ease. It comes through surrender. Surrendering your expectations, surrendering your timelines, surrendering your desire to control how it all unfolds. Because in the higher dimensions, control is replaced with trust. In 5D, you don't make things happen, you allow them. You don't push, you align. You don't chase, you attract what's already destined. But this requires releasing every part of you that was conditioned to strive. And that release is painful. Because for so long, your identity was wrapped in performance. You were told to prove yourself, to earn your worth, to fight for your place. But God never needed you to perform. He needed you to remember. Remember who you are. Remember why you came. Remember the truth that has always lived in your bones. You are light in human form. You are divine intelligence wrapped in skin. You are not here to survive. You are here to shift reality itself. But that power only activates when you let go of the mask. The world trained you to wear masks to be accepted. But heaven is asking you to remove them to be anointed. The true you, the raw, unpolished, unfiltered you, is the version that's ready to ascend. Not the curated version, not the perfect version, the real one. Because realness is what unlocks resonance, and resonance is what unlocks revelation. So let yourself be seen. Let your heart speak freely. Let your energy shine even when your voice shakes. This is not the season for hiding. This is the season for radiating. Chosen one, the world is darker than ever before. But that's exactly why your light matters. You were born for this. You were born for now. Your journey, every heartbreak, every failure, every delay was training for this moment. The shift is here, not next year, not when you're ready, now. And readiness isn't about having no fear. It's about choosing faith in spite of it. The next chapter of your life doesn't need your perfection. It needs your permission. Permission to let go, permission to rise, permission to live as if the divine truly dwells inside of you. Because it does. You are a carrier of higher consciousness. You are a bridge between dimensions. You are the intersection of heaven and earth. But the question is, will you own it? Will you walk as if you were chosen? Will you speak as if your words shape timelines? Will you act as if your obedience shifts nations? Because it does. Every step you take in alignment ripples into eternity. Every yes you give to your calling echoes across generations. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are cosmic. But cosmic beings must remember who they are or risk getting trapped in the illusion of limitation. So this is your reminder. No more shrinking, no more stalling, no more second guessing. The divine plan is unfolding, and you are a vital piece of it. Stand tall, speak truth, shine fully. This is not the time to dim. This is the time to blaze. Because when you finally step into your full frequency, everything aligns. Everything accelerates. And the shift that once felt far away becomes the reality you now walk in. You've made it to this moment, not by chance, but by calling. And now the final piece is being revealed. Chosen one, everything you've walked through, every delay, every detour, every spiritual fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to distill you, to remove everything false, to strip away the noise, to burn off the layers that covered who you really are. Because the version of you that's emerging now is the one that's always been ordained. This is the culmination, the convergence, the becoming. And it begins with one final choice. Will you cling to what's familiar, even if it's painful, limiting, or suffocating? Or will you release it all and step into what has already been written in the heavens about you? Because the future you desire isn't waiting somewhere out there. It's waiting within you to be unlocked by obedience, devotion, and radical surrender. There is no going back. Once your soul awakens, it cannot be put to sleep again. Once the veil lifts, you cannot unsee. Once you've tasted the truth, illusion no longer satisfies. So stop trying to fit back into old spaces. Stop looking for comfort in expired places. Stop asking people who are asleep to validate your awakening. You are beyond that now. You are rising. And the final key is faith. Faith that doesn't need a sign. Faith that doesn't wait for things to make sense. Faith that moves now. Because this is your Red Sea moment, where the path isn't visible until your feet step forward. This is where the miraculous becomes your new normal, where prayers become reality, where divine timing unfolds like a map you didn't even know you were following. And all of it begins when you say, I choose to believe. You are not who you were. You are not where you came from. You are not what they said. You are who God declared you to be. A light bearer, a cycle breaker, a kingdom expander. The shift is no longer something you wait for. It is something you embody right now. Not when you feel ready, not when everything's perfect. Now. Because heaven isn't looking for the most qualified. Heaven is looking for the most willing. And you've proven that willingness. In the way you've kept showing up, even through pain, the way you've trusted, even in silence. In the way you've chosen love, even when fear shouted louder. So now, it's time to step into it. Let your energy rise to meet your assignment. Let your heart align with heaven's rhythm. Let your frequency be the lighthouse that others can follow, because others will follow. Your shift is not just for you. It's for the souls connected to your yes, the generations tied to your obedience, the breakthroughs that will ripple from your alignment. This is legacy. This is destiny. This is why you couldn't quit, even when everything inside you wanted to. You've been protected, preserved, prepared, and now positioned. So speak your yes out loud, declare it with boldness, move as if the path is already cleared, because in the spirit, it is. And as you step into this final phase, remember, the 3D world will keep screaming for your attention, but your soul has moved on. You no longer operate in survival mode, you no longer seek approval, you no longer settle. You're walking in divine rhythm now, one with the Creator, one with your calling. This is the shift, this is the split, this is the sacred unfolding of who you truly are. And as you rise, watch how the world rearranges itself around your obedience. Watch how the doors open, watch how the blessings flow, watch how your very being becomes a portal for heaven on earth. This is it, chosen one, the final step, the divine shift, and you were made for it.